Exactly, which is why I'm constantly hungry right now. So here we go. I'm going to get started. Chin up and down. Today is Wednesday, so we're going to do a little more balance work. And we will hopefully practice things that are important for our balance. Oh, but we'll spend a little extra time loosening up because it is 4 degrees in Denver today. And we're all feeling it. And I'm looking left and right.
All I know is I can't go out walking.
You can't go out walking. I just feel a little stiffer. Yeah. There you go, walk in the halls. It's not as interesting as outside, huh? Beautiful. I'm going to reach one arm at a time. And just give those muscles and joints time to loosen up a little bit. Good. Elbows up like you're making a goalpost, and then sweep the elbows together in front. Open them into the back, pinch between your shoulder blades. Beautiful. Let's do circles down low. Nice and easy. Move that ball and socket joint in a nice smooth circle. Keep it in a range of motion that doesn't hurt. And then switch directions. Good. Sit up nice and tall on the edge of your seat. And let's take a side bend. So get super tall and then tilt and tilt. Just gently. Believe it or not, just this move is good for your balance. You can probably feel your belly starts to get involved as you tilt. Works to pull you back to upright. You're managing that shift of your weight one way and the other. Good. Let's warm up the spine front to back. So hands on your knees. For cat-cow, we're going to tuck your tail between your legs, arch your back, and tuck your chin. And then come up to upright, tilt your pelvis forward, belly button points at your toes, and arch up and back. And then just rock back into cat and open up into cow. Think about making space between each one of your vertebrae. Excellent. Come on back up to upright, cross your arms, lift up tall through your spine, and very gently rotate. This is one where you might feel the stiffness today. Oh yeah, me too. So take your time. Each time you go, you're gonna hit a little resistance and then just back away from that. Maybe the next time you get a little farther into the stretch. Good. All right. Let's go ahead and do a little windmill. So I'm perched on the edge of my chair. I have kind of a wide stance with my feet. Stretch your arms out. Let's see, do we have enough clearance for everybody? I think we do. And we're just going to hinge forward from the hip and rotate hand toward the opposite leg. You're just going to tap wherever your arm reaches. So just an easy twist and bend. Helps if you draw in on your belly button. Excellent. That gets us warmed up a little bit too. Come down to your feet, push your toes a little bit ahead of your knees, and then pick up your toes. And then slide your heels under and pick up your heels. Nice. Grab a knee, circle at the ankle. And switch directions. Beautiful. Switch feet. Sit up tall, circle at the ankle. And switch directions. Excellent. Still sitting on the edge of your chair, belly button drawn in, straighten one leg. Pretty much every joint you move on a cold day like today, you might feel the difference. Good. Other leg. Beautiful. That was 12. All right, we're going to take one leg, swing it out and back. You might add a little extra something by stepping up and over and out, and up and over and back. Ooh, that's a little harder. And it's also fine if you just swing out and back without doing the lift. Pick your poison. Oh, it'll wear you out fast doing the pickup though, won't it? I'm switching legs. Good. I think that's enough of that one. Let's stretch your legs out straight in front, about shoulder width apart. Hold on so you don't slide off your chair, and just toes in, toes out. So you think you're moving at your feet, but you're really moving all the way up here at your hips. That's what we're opening up a little bit there. Good. Now keep one leg out straight. The other foot you can have on the floor, knee bent. I'm going to take that straight leg, turn it off to the side, turn the toes out, lift from this inside part of my knee. Helps if you draw in on your belly button. And it doesn't matter how high you lift. Ooh, you can feel how hard that is. That means we need it. Switch legs. Suck in on your belly button and lift. This works those muscles right on the inside of your knee. They provide a lot of stability for your knee, and that will help you when you're balancing, which is pretty much anytime you're standing up, right? Ooh, that ought to do. That should do it. Let's do some sit-ups minus the stand-up. We'll stand up in a little bit, but let's do just the sit-ups. So feet about as wide as your chair legs. You're sitting right on the edge of your chair, sitting up nice and tall. We're gonna lean back as slowly as you can. Try to stop just before you touch the back of your chair. And then go all the way back and curl back up to upright. Beautiful. So belly button draws in. And control that lean back and control the coming up. Beautiful. This is much easier than sit-ups lying on the floor, but I wouldn't say it's easy. And whenever you're ready, come all the way to standing up. I am going to stand beside my chair. You can be behind it. Okay, so standing nice and upright. Let's start by coming up on our toes with our feet parallel. So feet are about hip width apart, toes are parallel to one another. Hold on just as much as you want. Come up on your toes and back down. You can feel your calves contracting as you come up. You can feel pretty much all the muscles in your legs that cross your ankles, and you can feel your feet strengthening too. Good, let's go in reverse. So stand and then draw your toes up to your knees. I'm trying to keep my hips underneath me. If you need to, feel free to just lift one foot at a time. If you're worried about tipping backwards. Good. Let's do another little variation now. So come up on your toes with both feet, then lift one foot off the floor and lower down on the one foot. Come up on both feet, lower down on the other foot. Up on both, lower down on one. So you're just balancing on one set of toes for a second, but then you're using just one leg to control the coming down. Up on two, down on one. I'm going to do one last one. Excellent. Let's do one more variation. Heels together, toes apart, like a ballerina. Does anybody remember what position that is? Is that first position, maybe? Penguin position. It's penguin position today. So to the extent you can, not everybody's hips turn as much as that, but toes out, heels together. Hold on a little bit. We're going to come up on your toes and back down. You might feel you really have to work with your rear end to keep your toes out and to keep you from tipping forward. So keep your rear end tucked under as you come up on your toes and back down. You'll feel this all the way up your legs. Beautiful. Step out, take a couple of steps to loosen everything up. That looked really good. All right. So now hold on as much as you like. We're going to stand on one leg and let's just take the other leg, tap front, center, side, center, back, center. So by all means, hold on if you need to, but if you can do this standing on the one leg and reaching the other toe out, great. Doesn't matter if you get off sequence, front, side, back, just keep moving, reaching out with the free leg. Let's switch sides. Tap front, center, side, center, back. Good. Front, side, and back. Beautiful. Good. If you are holding on, try just lightening your grip a little bit. Sometimes just touching something is enough to tell your brain it's okay. I'm not going to fall over. I'm going to switch back to the first foot. And I'm going to make it a little bit harder. So instead of just tapping, I'm actually going to reach a little bit, which means I'm going to put a small bend in the hip and the knee of the leg I'm standing on, which makes that a little more challenging. Same thing to the side, small bend in the hip and the knee, reach a little farther out. Small bend, reach a little farther back. Good. You can decide how much bend your hips and your knees will tolerate. It's quite hard to balance on one leg while that leg is bending at the hip and the knee. But it's really good to coordinate that. Let's just do one more round on this leg. Excellent. And then let's switch. So reach front, reach side, reach back. Doing just a little bend of the hip and the knee. You can feel it's a little bit tricky to keep your knee stable, to keep your weight centered over your base of support. Beautiful. Excellent. Take a couple of steps. Let your feet relax. Let your legs relax. And let's practice the big step back. So turn so that your shoulder is facing your chair and you're holding on with one hand. So your shoulder is facing the back of your chair. You're going to stand on the leg closest to your chair. And the leg that's farther from your chair is going to be the one that takes a big step back. And then feet together. And we're just going to keep doing that same leg. Big step back, feet together. That forward leg is the one that's pulling you up and forward. So when I get into that big step back, I drive the front heel into the floor to lift me back up. Now, if you want to make it just a tiny bit harder, big step back and bend both knees so you come closer to the floor and back together. Big step back, bend both knees. If you're really flexible, you can touch your knee to the floor. And before you know it, you've figured out that this is why we practice this, because this is the hard part of getting off the floor. Getting that back leg pulled back to the front. Beautiful. That's probably enough. I'm going to switch sides. So turn around, take the other shoulder to the chair. Stand on the leg closest to the chair. Take a big step back. And then drive that front leg into the floor to lift you back up. It's the hip of the forward leg that's doing most of the work here. And it's so hard because you're lifting your entire body weight using just one leg. You can bend both knees and practice getting almost all the way down to the floor and all the way back up. Beautiful. trust me when I tell you, if you can get into that position with the big step back and the knee all the way down, and you can get back up, you can get off the floor. So that's the hardest part, and that's why it's so good to practice it. And you feel it, don't you? I can tell. I can tell. And you should. All right, come back up to standing upright. Have your chair where you can hold on if you need it. Then let's take one leg out to the side and back to the center. See what I did there? Beautiful, beautiful. If you can hold it out there, that's great. I love this exercise because it shows me how well you guys are doing. Often when I first meet somebody in this class, all they can do is kick out and drop back, kick out and drop back. But as you get stronger, you have a lot more control. And I can see that. Beautiful, switch legs. Now, do try to make sure that you're not reaching forward with your foot and that you're not turning your toe off to the side. You want to keep the toe straight ahead, keep your 2 feet parallel to one another. Even if it means you don't move your leg as far, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you have control. Beautiful, wide stance with your feet. Big hip circles, we'll loosen that all back up. It's amazing how those couple of little standing exercises that use those big muscles can wear you out quickly. Good, switch directions. Excellent, and we did three or four variations of the come up on your toes. So your calf stretch is going to feel really good today. So face the back of your chair, take a big step back and settle your back heel to the floor. Toes, knees, hips, shoulders all face one direction. And again, you can adjust the stretch by how far back you step. So farther back, more stretch, closer in, less stretch. You want to find the place that's comfortable. And then switch legs. Back heel to the floor. Just take a couple of nice deep breaths. Good, then keep holding on to your chair while you walk backwards. Hinge at your hips. Lengthen from head to tail, so you're pulling your hips back away from the chair. Should feel a nice stretch all the way down the back side of your body. And then bend your knees, tuck your hips under, towards your chair. Come on back up and come around to seated. One more time. Whew. All right, so let's turn sideways in our chairs. So I'm going to turn sideways in my chair, and I'm sitting halfway on the chair and halfway off. So one leg and one hip are not supported by the chair. I'm holding on to the back of my chair so I don't slide off the front. I'm going to take this leg that's hanging and point the knee toward the floor, and I'm going to tuck my tail between my legs. So tuck the tail under, lift up tall through the torso. Big stretch down the front of the thigh, front of the hip. You can accentuate that by pulling that leg behind you a little bit too. Ooh, that's plenty of stretch. Take a couple of deep breaths there. And then release the hanging leg. Come back around and switch sides. So halfway on, halfway off. Knee down toward the floor. Pull that leg back while you tuck the tailbone under and lift up tall. Take a few deep breaths. This may be really uncomfortable because most of us sit too much, and this really opens up those tightened up hip flexors. Let's get into the hip rotator muscles. So one foot up on the opposite knee or across the ankle where you can let the knee roll out to the side a little bit. Sit up nice and tall. If that's too tight for you, go ahead and lean back a little bit. But if you have more room to stretch, just gently fold forward. Take nice deep breaths. You're just sort of sneaking up on it. Nice. Other side. Pull up tall through your spine. Don't forget, everybody's built a little differently at the hips. So you may not be able to bend nearly as far forward as somebody else in the room. In fact, you may even notice a difference one leg to the other. Many people do. Nice. Untangle. Take a wide stance with your feet perched on the front of your chair and reach, reach, reach to the ceiling. And take a big, gentle side bend. Couple times back and forth. And then tall again in the middle and keep reaching out with the crown of your head as you fold forward. Hinge from your hips until they won't go anymore, and then you can relax your spine all the way down. You can be holding on your knees, or if you can reach all the way to the floor, whatever works. Just let your low back open up a little bit while you're down here. And then suck in tight on your belly button, hands on your knees for support. Stack your spine back up as you come back up to upright. Nice work. All right, everybody, you did it. Good job. All right.